a massive explosion occurs. Once things calm down, Miles rushes to check on Spider-Man, who appears severely injured and exhausted. Spider-Man asks Miles to work with him and hands him a key. He explains that the key must be used quickly to destroy the machine, or else everything and everyone they know, including Miles' family, will vanish from existence. As Miles walks away, one of the villains finds Spider-Man's mask and kills him. When Miles witnesses this, the villain orders the others to hunt him down. A huge chase breaks out through the subway and the city streets, but Miles manages to escape and returns home, where it's clear his father, Jeff, had been extremely worried about him. Miles then asks his father if he still hates Spider-Man. His father responds that he hasn't changed his mind. Soon after, news of Spider-Man's death spreads everywhere and people mourn his passing deeply. Miles visits a costume shop and buys a Spider-Man suit, even though it's way too small for him. He wears it under his clothes and attends a press conference held by Peter Parker's friend, Mary Jane. After that, he gathers all the Spider-Man comic books he can find to learn where Peter used to train. He climbs to the top of a building and attempts to leap off, terrified. When he jumps, he fails to use his new powers and crashes to the ground. Meanwhile, the key that Spider-Man gave him to disable the collider breaks, leaving Miles feeling defeated and hopeless. He decides to visit Peter Parker's grave and apologize for failing to stop the collider and for breaking the key. Suddenly, a stranger appears behind Miles and grabs him. Miles panics and attacks the man until he blacks out. When he wakes up, he discovers that this stranger can also shoot webs and looks just like Peter Parker, only older. At that moment, the police arrive. Miles quickly ties the man up and escapes with him. When the man regains consciousness, he finds himself tied up in a secret underground place owned by Miles's uncle. Miles interrogates him, wanting to know who he is and why he resembles Peter Parker. The man reveals that he is Peter Parker, but from another dimension. Another version of Spider-Man. Miles begs him to train him, but when Peter tries to swing, he fails. His body is weak from being in the wrong universe. Still, Peter decides to leave and return to his own world. But Miles pleads with him, saying he needs training to defeat the villain known as Kingpin. When Peter hears that name, he changes his mind and agrees to work with Miles to destroy the collider. After giving Miles some basic training, they both head to a lab to access the main computer. Peter hacks in and opens the system. Miles follows him in and, to his surprise, discovers a new power. He can turn invisible. Suddenly, a scientist walks in, thrilled to see Peter alive. Peter distracts her so Miles can use his new power to access the computer, but Miles doesn't know what to do, so he grabs the computer and runs. The scientist then reveals mechanical arms and grabs Peter by the neck, and a massive fight breaks out. Peter and Miles manage to escape into the forest, but she chases them down, destroying trees along the way. She corners them and retrieves the computer. Suddenly, a girl in a Spider-Man suit appears, fights off the scientist, and takes back the computer. When she removes her mask, it's revealed to be Gwen. She explains that she was also bitten by a radioactive spider 2 years ago and lost in the multiverse, arriving in this world a week ago. In her universe, Peter Parker also died. She had been disguising herself as a regular girl so no one would recognize her. Now Miles is joined by 2 Spider-Men from alternate realities. They leave together, and the story shifts to Kingpin. He stands before a photo of his wife and remembers the time Spider-Man almost defeated him. Back then, when his wife and son discovered he was a villain, they fled and died in a car accident. Kingpin, overwhelmed with grief, blames Spider-Man for their deaths. His assistant arrives and tells him that she saw 3 Spider-Men, meaning the collider is working and the dimensions are overlapping. Back with Peter, Miles, and Gwen, they arrive at Aunt May's house. She is touched to see Peter, but quickly realizes he's from a different universe. Peter apologizes for his past and shows her the broken key. Aunt May sympathizes and takes them to Peter's old lab, where they can build a new key. The lab is filled with all the equipment Peter once used. Gwen watches in awe. Meanwhile, other Spider-Men from different dimensions begin to arrive, all hoping to return to their own worlds. Miles tries to use his powers but can't control them, and he becomes discouraged. He visits his uncle's apartment and leaves a message saying he's overwhelmed and needs to talk. Suddenly, Kingpin's assistant arrives, looking for Spider-Man. Miles hides and becomes invisible. The assistant gets very close but does. These summaries are brought to you by Mia, a college student working to earn some extra income alongside her studies. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.